A pirate's life, full of dreams, passions, and wishes to accomplish constantly, encompassed the adventure of these historical characters, who dominated the seas of the old times. In this story, we embark on a journey marked by a historical achievement. We find ourselves on the old continent, in the time of 1941. The kingdoms that took over this continent weren't in their best times. Instead, they were filled with poverty and crisis. Besides, something that reality hid from their people were their constant attacks from the pirates, which marked a crisis and instability in the economy. But alas, here shows up a hero who will be remembered throughout the history, Christopher Columbus, but whose achievement of finding the new continent was stained by an antecedent who no one will tell. A huge but worn-out ship encompasses the beautiful ports of Spain, a ship filled with stories never before told, made by pirates and their captain, Pedro de la Ronda, a pirate who, judging by his look, seemed like more of the bunch of undrunkest mess. A pirate who did only one thing: disembark and steal small coast towns.
Captain, there's someone who says to be your friend to come see him.
Let that slave trader in.
For some reason, although he didn't know who this friend was, he still had complete knowledge of who it really was. The chamber's doors opened and shiny. Their boots emerged from the dark. Shoes who showed the borders of those times.
What do you want now, Columbus?
Some friends of mine told me you went on a great adventure.
Ah, no, it wasn't a great adventure, just some trip to India.
India? Those friends told me about a different trip.
What do you care about my adventures? You only want transport for those other slaves.
You are wrong. I'm interested in your dreaded pirate adventures.
Hey, don't forget you traffic humans. I only drink and take care of my son.
Now that you mention it, I imagine your son would have been told the stories about his grandfather fighting completely fertile soil and land.
You better not get near my son. Anyway, tell me why you are not interested in the lands.
It's better that you tell me about those lands and give me the map that I suppose your navigating officer made for me.
Who told you that? You have too much information.
What Pedro didn't know was that all of his crewmates were bought by gold that Columbus didn't seem to lack.
Let's just to say your friends are now my friends.
I ain't giving you even the smallest bit of anything that has to do with those new lands that should remain hidden.
Why would you want to hide them? Could it be that you found a worthy woman for you?
It's something that a slave trader wouldn't understand.
In Columbus' face, an expression of desperation appeared due to the time he lost speaking with that filthy pirate, who didn't even know where he was standing. Luckily for Columbus, if there was if there were to be a gunshot or a scream from one of the crewmen, there will be eyes on the swords, and since there won't be any people seeing him, he will steal a small handgun and shoot him into the room where Pedro was remaining. And so he did.
Wow, you really are filled with greed. I'm still not giving you anything.
Well, in that case, I will be the one make your kid cry in your grave.
Do whatever you want. You won't get anything.
Without thinking twice, Columbus filled Peter's body with small golden bullets. Columbus turned the whole cabin upside down trying to find the map that will lead him into the no fertile lands of discovery of the late pirate, who was lying next to his feet. As a last effort, Columbus checked the lifeless corpse, and just as he thought, the map was inside the late pirate's pants. In his last thoughts he remembered Pedro as an honorable pirate for keeping his treasure, but that didn't mean anything, and he still was a useless drunk idiot. This way, Columbus managed to get the map of the foreign lands which, obviously, Bull used to his advantage to tell the world that he was the one to discover them. That was how Christopher Columbus was attributed for the discovery of the new continent, what we now call America. We find the son of the pirate, Antonio. We can see a man in his early 20s. He lost his father through a tragic adventure that carried him to his death. These days, Antonio's dreams are based on being a pirate captain like his father. His childhood was spent watching and analyzing the commanders of the Spanish War to learn how to fight, defense, and train techniques to be one of the best pirates. On other hand, his friend Jean Colon, who is really more than a friend, he's like a brother. Since the death of his father, his mother could not bear that death and died of an illness caused by depression and loneliness. This caused Antonio to have to grow up with the Colon family, which Jean's uncle Bartolome Colon. That was a drunkard with a bad reputation among sailors. Antonio suffered various mistreatments from him. One of what he remembers most are
What are you doing drunk at home so early?
How dare you call me like that, child?
And how dare you call me a child?
When your father died, he was still a child. Then you will remain that way since your true relatives remember you as a bright child.
I didn't ask to change families.
If only my stupid brother hadn't killed your father.
What did you say to the disgusting old man?
That's how the things are, boy.
You're kidding, aren't you?
Ptolemy, irritated by Antonio's constant questioning, got fed up and decided to give him a beating like the ones he gave him when he was a child. But the problem was that, as Antonio had previously expressed, he was no longer a child, and due to the obvious situation, a healthy young can beat a pot-bellied drunk with no athletic quality in every way. What Antonio did not calculate was his strength and rage when receiving the first punch from Bartolome. Immediately after receiving this catalyst punch from the beginning of the fight, Antonio pounced on top of him. The first thing he remembered as was how the Spanish guards broke the arms of their opponents when they had them on the floor. Antonio continued to break those arms that mistreated him so much. The drunkard could not bear the pain until he fainted.
What's up, you drunk asshole? Maybe you weren't so strong after all. Look at me. If you don't speak, I will make you speak. I'll do the same thing with this Columbus family, who apparently are the cause of the death of my family.
Bartolome, of course, did not answer anything. The poor drunk continued fading from the pain of having both arms broken. Antonio, full of anger and confusion in his mind, decided to end that feeling, and this was end the life of Bartolome with a gun. It seemed that it was the one that they used to kill his father.
Look, old man, I will kill this family with one of their own weapons.
That words will be the last thing that Bartolome will hear in his only moments of lucidity after recovering from his faint. Events in Antonio's life will make the only meaning of his life turn into revenge. The dream of becoming a pirate will remain secondary if he survived after completing his destiny that he believed was revenge. He took a boat of Valladolid where Cristobal Colon and his family were to complete his revenge with his own weapons from the Colon family. and meet again with Jen, who in his mind could be his brother, but he was a forced brother who never respected Antonio as a true being to respect. After the long trip to Valladolid by boat, Antonio arrived at the Colon family. It is true that he was not part of the family. However, the Colons took care of him and they were not going to leave him. Nobody had known anything about Bartholomew's death, so to speak. Bartholomew was someone who was not accepted in his family. The first one he met upon his arrival in the Columbilas in Valladolid was Chillán, the great son of Christopher Columbus.
Hi, beggar, what are you doing here?
The old man sent me to get something.
Related to what on this side?
With your father, Christopher.
Perhaps you.
At that moment, Chillán felt something strange in Antonio, just as Chillán did not know Antonio's real past. However, his father Christopher Columbus died a year ago. Chillán will watch Antonio's behavior.
Continue what you're going to say.
Nothing, just my mind got tangled. Something that doesn't happen to someone who doesn't like you. Hey, beggar, you want to see a luxury that you will never have because the old man who takes care of you will never be able to get it?
Okay, show me your great wealth.
It's not well, in fact, it's garbage, but garbage that makes us rich.
Antonio couldn't stand the urge to punch Chillán. However, he knew he couldn't do that if he wanted to carry out his plan of revenge against Cristobal.
And tell me, where's that you want to show me?
What do you mean? Are you blind?
I don't understand you.
You have never seen a slave. Well, look ahead, you have hundreds of slaves. Well, I see that you don't understand what I am saying. Well, I have to go. If you want to stay with the slaves, who are not very different from you, and even if some caretakers come to take you home and show you the room. I am not going to stay tonight.
Wait, when can I see your father?
Take it easy. I assure you, you will see him tomorrow.
Antonio took the time to think about the plan he had in mind from the moment he got on the boat. His revenge in his head had everything to succeed. Antonio took a moment to control the anxiety that made him think of his revenge. He met his gaze with the beautiful sunset that under that sun that flowered the sky was a beautiful slave who was arranging a horse to be mounted. Antonio finally felt a sigh of his feelings of revenge from a feeling of infatuation when he saw something so beautiful. Antonio was curious to know who that slave was.
I'm sorry to get in the way of your task, but I'm a bit irritated for not knowing your name.
My name is Lucia. And what is the meaning of someone like you talking to a slave like me?
The setting of the sun makes your beauty shine in my eyes.
You're a little forward, aren't you?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to discomfort your beauty, but I couldn't resist sharing with you this beautiful sunset.
I believe you're wrong. The true beauty that shines is your beautiful outlined face.
The romantic ambience was quickly destroyed by the foreman, who was assigned by Chillán to guide Antonio to the house of Columbus.
What are you doing, woman? Why aren't you working?
The foreman, to show discipline to the slaves, takes out his whip and starts to whip the back of Lucia.
Hey, Foreman, calm down. It was me who distracted her. Hey, Foreman, don't you know how to read the ambience?
Don't talk to me with the corny speech. I'm only here to take you home. Whatever you do, I don't care.
Antonio got on the horse that Lucia was taking care of, and followed the foreman to the house. The foreman showed all the different rooms to Antonio, but one of them caught his attention.
Whose room is this with such detailed doors?
What do you care about? These were the doors to Christopher's room.
Where?
I mean, they are his.
Something odd about the way that the room was referred struck Antonio. However, it was just some uneasiness like any other. Once they got to Antonio's room, the foreman took off the chambers. Antonio took advantage of waiting in his room, as in his own room he didn't want anybody to see his own nervousness when the time came to perform his revenge plan. It was midnight. Antonio took the gun that he stole from Bartolome and moved forward to Columbus' chamber. He thought in that moment that when he finished his easy revenge he was going to take that slave. Antonio opened the door, and upon entering he stumbled upon a big lung, which didn't look at all like a room. In fact, it was a lung filled with maps and stuff that a ship sailor will keep. But it was only in that specific room. Cheyenne and the foreman were also there, and with 10 elite guards from the Columbus family. And Antonio fell in the trap of suspicion which Cheyenne had from the very beginning when they met.
What is Antonio doing here?
Antonio didn't answer the question.
I see that Lucia at your tongue, so I brought her back to your personality.
Lucia was in a dying state, with bruises and blood running through her body.
Lucia, can you give Antonio back his tongue?
Antonio couldn't resist the images in front of him. That that woman who made him fall in love with just the sights was found almost dead, so he decided to reveal his plan.
Chajan, I have come here to avenge my father's death. Lucia doesn't have anything to do with this.
Before anything happens worse, step up Antonio, and now that you are in that tight situation, I will tell you why she's here. I thought someone like you wouldn't realize the first saying of your own sister.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If what us to be better, I will tell you more clearly. Lucia is your sister. You feral ancestor freak.
You've got to be kidding me. Just let her go.
You know what? I will let her go.
The guards proceed to decapitate the already dying body of Lucia. Antonio couldn't process the situation. It's supposed to be his revenge, not the death of him and the death of the woman that he just met that now died. Just to find out it was his own sister. Cheyenne caught the death of Lucia and he put in front of the head of Antonio, in a way that their lips will touch.
Now, have your ancestral expectations come true?
Antonio stood in silence.
You are driving me crazy. I cannot stand to you say your stupid phrase for trying to kill somebody that is already dead like Christopher Columbus. You didn't know that my father died a year ago, and he lived better than all of you.
Looking at the head of my lover, who now turns out to be my own sister, I start to think about Chajan, who's supposed to be my brother, who I hated even before knowing about my father's fate, and remembering the nice evening that was going all behind of this. When I saw that slave for the first time, which now is nothing more than a bodiless head, I realized that I have always been blinded by the search of the blood from someone who had already died, Christopher Columbus. Someone who had made me want to kill him and awoke my wish of vengeance. Really, my father would have wanted me to kill that guy, but I guess that doesn't matter anymore. Now I'll be killed by the son of the one I wish to kill. However, I don't know if I regret anything or not. In my head, there's only desperation. Maybe if that day I had let go those words the drunk old man told me, I wouldn't be here, about to die. I just wish it was all a dream and woke up to my beautiful sister and began a new life without these Columbus people in it. But now, I guess I just have to accept my death, full of regret from these desires of vengeance. And as a last sight, I only I only see how everything ends so suddenly, like the shot that's going to go right through my head.
Chajan ordered his guards to shoot. Antonio was on the brink of death. His body was full of bullets, just like the body of his father when he died. But before the eternal rest that awaited Antonio, his body moved, and with the weapon that he stole from Bartholomew, he shot Chajan in the eye, that white eye that will never function again. The last thing that was heard were the screams of Chajan that were not of death, but they were of pain. The sun rose up to give a new morning.